let's take a few breaths together to center. Uh, Sitting up straight and relaxed, bringing our hands maybe near our hara, our center, also known as a tantian, below the belly button, and just bringing our focus there, drawing our inhales all the way to our tantian. Smooth, relaxing exhales. And really just doing this for a few cycles of breath. Drawing all our power to our center. Maybe connecting to the force. Beautiful. You can slowly open your eyes.
Wow. Okay. Um, so I am here with Kazane. Thank you for joining us. My name is Ron. For those of you who don't know, you're watching this. This is the Jedi Playbook, and I am honored to be here with a Reiki master. Can I call you that? You are a Reiki master.
Yes, I
You
am.
also teach meditation, and you are also a student of Bushido. Um, sorry, I'm still coming at that. That was absolutely fantastic. So just to start, just to put it into context for people, what first of all, how did you get into meditation,
Mm.
and why do you meditate?
Oh, that's a nice way to start. Thank you, Ron, first of all, for inviting me. Our chat was delayed due to nature elements, but I was really looking forward to this. So, um, meditation. So, I actually started meditating as a teenager. Would you believe it? I had a very tumultuous adolescence. Um, and actually, in New York City is where I started meditating. Would you believe that?
Wow.
Somebody gave me a book by Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese Zen master, and that's how I got started. It's the most basic. That's the beauty of Zen. It's so simple. It's focusing, like what we did, focusing on the breath. It's very approachable. At the same time, it's infinite in terms of what it can bring and how deep you can go. So it helped me during this difficult period where so I'm originally from the Philippines, and I had these like family drama that when I was 18 I did a big move from New York City to back to the Philippines. And so that whole year, I would say meditation saved me from cultural shock. um, but over the years, I really stopped meditating. Like I got married at a young age. I was 24. I had a child at 28, and I really meditation was kind of fell to the side. And it wasn't until recently, so 2015, right, is quite recent, that I discovered Reiki energy healing, and really that really helped me return to my meditation practice, to a strong, regular practice. Yeah, in a nutshell.
Well, um, for someone who has never
Mm.
encountered Reiki before, what could you tell them about it? Could you summarize Reiki in a few sentences?
So, Reiki is the force. To
That's a
summarize
good way to
it,
put it.
I jump right into it. No, so I first heard about Reiki when I was traveling with my daughter to Angkor Wat. So maybe you've seen Tomb Raider. Angkor Wat is this amazing temple city that was overgrown by jungle. It's a very For me, it's a very special place. At the time, I wasn't aware of how locations have energy and are like portals as well, but somehow I chose that location. And while I was there, something happened, and they were offering Reiki sessions in the town. And I didn't know what Reiki was, but that seed was planted. And the following month, I was traveling to Thailand and I took a Reiki course. The only thing I knew about it was that it was energy healing and I could send it to my mom who was in the States. And I was like, oh, I want to heal my mom. Let me try this thing. I have nothing to lose. So that was my intention when I started practicing. And it turned out to be obviously such an amazing journey, unexpected. 2 years later, I opened a Reiki studio in the Philippines, and I've taught hundreds of students now. And my mom's doing her own thing, and she's good. But basically, it was an inner journey of healing. Yeah. So Reiki is defined as universal, sacred, universal life force energy. So it is. That's why I was half joking when I said it's a force, because it is very, very much similar to that. It's this light that we all have access to, that's innate to us, and that is life-giving and healing. So Rei and Ki, right? Two kanji words from Japan. Reiki's from Japan. Rei is the spiritual divine, and then the Ki is our chi, our life force energy. Yeah. There you go.
I love that. What advice do you have for someone who wants to get into energy healing, to get into Reiki?
Well, they can sign up for my course. Yeah.
That's a place
just do your research, like with everything, you kind of want to get a feel of it. At the same time, don't get overwhelmed with information, because you know how we're in this age of there's just too much information. So practice discernment. I would say I have a tendency to act before I think. And sometimes it helps, sometimes it serves me, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, it really did, because like I did minimal research before I kind of like, this sounds like something cool, I want to check out. Find out for yourself. So the beauty of Reiki is that it's so easy to start with and to learn. My course is actually just a half-day course. And so very quickly you can learn the basics. The challenging part comes after, right? It comes with the discipline and the daily practice and that's really basically it. So you're fully accountable for your journey with Reiki, right? So I would say half of my students who take level 1 kind of fall, it kind of falls to the wayside. And then half are like, wow, this is actually something worth going deeper with. And then they continue, maybe they take level 1, a couple of them even go to, their master level, which is very exciting. So yeah.
That is awesome. You are also, as we mentioned, a student of Bushido. Can you describe that journey? Look, what made you decide to pick up a sword? Like, how does that happen?
Oh my gosh. So something funny is that I went to culinary school, like, I don't know how many years ago, 10, 15 years ago. And I got so obsessed with knives in culinary school that I almost got a chef's knife tattooed here. And thank God I didn't, because imagine getting Reiki from someone who has like a big chef's knife here. So thank God I didn't. Yeah. So I had this fascination with knives and cutting. It's kind of creepy, right? So anyway, I don't touch raw flesh anymore, just for the record. So Bushido, many years later. So last year on Instagram, Zen Takai, who's my sensei, our sensei, happened to pop up on my Instagram feed with the hashtag Reiki. And it's like, okay, right? And so I was like, wow, this guy's he's pretty awesome, right? Anyone who sees him move, it's like, wow, there's something special. And so I messaged him and I'm like, are you a Reiki practitioner? I was just very curious because he has such an amazing aura that comes through, right? And that's how I am also. So I messaged him and he told me no, but he's interested in Reiki. And so I was like, well, I'm interested in what you're doing. And so I took a trial course, and again, no commitment. And my first session with sensei, I was like, okay. And I took martial arts. I took karate in college. I took martial arts before. I took Arnis Philippine sticks also in college. And then again, I stopped that. And then, so my first session with sensei, I took that for PE, we had PE sticks. He just started talking about the elements and about, the air element and the sky and the ground. And I was like, wait a minute, this isn't a regular martial arts class, is it? And then I realized that, okay, this guy's, he has to be my sensei. It's unexplainable.
When the student
Exactly.
is ready,
Like
the
the
master will
words
appear.
and then we had an amazing connection because he could read my, he would read, he's super psychic, right? He reads my mind. Like I do a movement and then he's like, and he says something. And then oh, I get it. I get it. And then I do it and he's like, yeah, you got it. And I'm like, well, and just with a few words, right? Like not elaborate. It was just an amazing connection. Yeah. And so that's how it started. And the next thing you know, so I started with my arnis stick, my Kali, my Filipino. And then sensei's like, okay, you're going to need to upgrade if you're going to really be doing this. I didn't have anything and you're going to need a bokken. And so I ordered one like online, again, not anything too expensive. I didn't know where this was going. And then a couple more weeks and sensei's like, you really need to develop a more personal relationship to your weapon. And that's when I was like, okay, I need a bokken from Japan with my name on it. And then I'll be able to sleep with it and like talk to it and whatever. So yeah, so at that point, I was like, Sensei, could you give me my name in kanji, the kanji for my name, so I could have it inscribed in the bokken? And this is like only after a few months. And then Sensei's like, like, I think you're ready to receive your samurai name. This is after like a short period of time. And I was like, exactly. I had that reaction. I was like, my what? It was a very exciting moment. And it kind of solidified, obviously, my commitment to the way of the samurai. And yeah. So I do want to say that we spent a lot of time also talking about philosophy and culture and stuff like that during class. It's not just all cut. We're not just cutting the whole time. We do breath work and I also have so many questions. So I have all these questions and Sensei is like very, very patiently answering my questions, but as best he can. Yeah, he's so amazing for that. He researches and stuff. And yeah, so it's just been such an amazing journey. And yeah, that's it.
So I was gonna be like, yeah, are you an advocate? I mean, obviously, I guess after hearing all that, yes, you advocate studying Bushido for people who are curious. Um, I honestly, I would love to have him do like a group class, like to teach, like to do an Instagram live or something, and we could do if you would be up for that.
Let's
I would
ask
love to
him.
do like a Reiki session or meditation session and like
Oh my
sword and
God. Oh my God.
it would be just amazing.
Ah,
It would be amazing.
let's do it.
We should totally do
Let's
that.
do it.
We should totally
Let's
do
do
it.
it. Yeah, let's do
Um,
it.
all right, so we're halfway. We're at the halfway mark. I figured we got 8:30 if we allotted for an hour. Um, I wanted to get into a little bit more of the like nitty gritty. Let's just say, and the habit. Like, how do you form? Well, it's just discipline, I guess, at that point. But like,
Mm.
the question I'm trying to ask is, how do you get better? How do you practice Reiki? Literally, just do it.
How do
Like,
you
is there a
practice
method to
Reiki?
your? Yeah, like how do you get better? How do you?
Yeah. Okay.
When do you know it's time for your level 2, for example? If
So
you're a
this is
level
a great
practitioner.
question because my Reiki practice has evolved so much over the past few months because what I realize is taught mostly in the West is a Western modern form of Reiki, which was really, really sufficient and very, very helpful, very, very effective until I started working with Sensei. Because so Mikao Usui, the founder of Reiki, was a samurai. I don't know if you're aware of this one. He came from a family of samurai. Yeah. I love your face.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So he is from a lineage of samurai, right? This is also one of the reasons, obviously. So the traditional Japanese Reiki is infused with Bushido principles. And so they're very closely related.
Okay. Wow.
Right.
W-
And so when So like I don't know how sensei works with other people, but with me, we talk a lot about energy. We talk a lot about the hara. We talk a lot about controlling the breath, controlling our mind, looking with the third, like all of these things that we talk about in energy healing circles. Yeah. So I'm sure he adapts his classes. That's why he works mainly one-on-one. But my quest at the moment, my exploration is what was it like in Usui Sensei's time, in the early 1900s, in that context of, Japan's changing, samurai culture is kind of dying away, the modern and the old coming together. Some of Usui Sensei's students were saying that Reiki is actually just, so there was at one point where the government kind of outlawed Buddhism, so that Shinto would be the main religion. And so Usui Sensei, some of his students are saying that he just used Reiki as a way to disguise esoteric Buddhist meditation practices without saying, oh, no, it's not a religion, it's a healing thing, And of course, it evolved over time. So how to deepen for me, it's, I get so excited. When I get excited about it, it's something I really look forward to. Like I can't wait to sit and do my Reiki practice. I don't think you can force it if you're, because there's always that the value. How much value am I gonna get from sitting and doing my practice versus, playing a video game or, whatever it is. So it's such a personal journey. So I can only be here, like you said, when the student is ready, I can only be here and give support and give that framework. For example, now I'm doing it's a 5-week Reiki retreat that I'm inviting people to come and join, practice with me. And so we support each other as a community in the practice, because there's no secret. Same with learning Japanese language. It's, I have to make myself excited about it so that it doesn't feel like such a chore. Otherwise, it's never gonna last. I'm just gonna stop after a while. So the beautiful thing about Reiki that I'm realizing now, in the West, the emphasis is the hands-on healing, right? But in the traditional Japanese form, it's not only the hands-on is almost like, okay, let's show this is for beginners who have no idea. And then once you're really good at it, you don't even need the hands-on anymore. It's like you are Reiki. Yeah. And so,
Wow.
so there the 5 practices that you can practice for Reiki. It doesn't have, so before it was like, okay, you have to do 21 days hands-on. If you don't, it's not going to work, whatever. So that's not how it is. I mean, energy is not black or white like that, right? So, so the first thing is the principles of Reiki, the Gokai, the 5 precepts of Reiki, which I'm sure you're familiar with. So that's something I started reciting in Japanese as a mantra. And let me tell you, just that practice has changed my practice. And recently I had a Reiki conference here. I invited the community to recite it in Japanese, like for the first time. It feels different. So words have power, words have resonance, words have energy, and so I'm not saying the English translation is not effective. It just feels different. And it puts me in that state of like, wow, this is so awesome. I just want to continue. So do you want to try to do it with me?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Let's see how it makes you feel, if it makes you feel any different. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Reiki, you can also try to follow if you want. So yeah, the first thing we're going to do is find a nice stable position, whether we're on the ground or on a chair. If we're on a chair, having our feet on the floor, having our backs nice and straight, and relaxing the body. Again, bringing our attention into our tantian, our hara, below our belly button. And let's bring our hands to a prayer position, or gasho. So thumbs are at the heart, the breastbone. And just take a breath. And you can just repeat after me if you want to explore this prayer. Kyo dake wa
Kyo dake wa
ikaru na,
ikaru na,
shinpai su na,
chibai su na,
kansha shite.
感謝して、
気を励め、
気を励め、
人に
人に
親切に。
親切に。
Relax your hands down. You can open your eyes. So
My
ideally,
fingers
we
are
would
tingling a little
recite
bit.
that. There. I think you're gonna jumpstart that journey again. Yeah. So you would say that 3 times, and then building up that the power. It really has an effect on the energy, on the aura, on the body. Um, so for those who aren't familiar, again with the Gokai, it's just for today. I let go of anger. I let go of worry. I receive gratefully. I fulfill my duties, and I'm compassionate to others and myself, more or less. There's several translations, but so even just that as a daily Reiki practice, that's already powerful.
Is it ever? um, that's amazing. Uh, okay, I need another moment. That was fantastic. I'm gonna get back. It's gotta happen now. It's all the dots are connecting again. I'll get back into Reiki. It's gonna happen. Um, I wanted to actually ask you about so the only martial arts I did prior to studying with Zen Sensei, dedicated for any length of time, was fencing in high school, and then Wing Chun Kung Fu, which
Cool.
was developed by a nun. So the entire like curriculum was around, look, you are fighting bigger and stronger opponents. Here's how you do it. You use
So
their
cool.
energy against them. The thing that was missing, which you pointed out about Zen Sensei, is there's a spiritual aspect to his teachings that was completely absent from all of my other studies in martial arts, and it was that key aspect where like
Mhm.
with a slight language barrier, right? But still, like he's able to convey the concepts. Like it just clicks.
Mhm.
And so here's my question: do you feel like? Let me backtrack a little bit. I was always a weak nerd. I was always bullied as a kid. I never felt like strong or like I was never athletic or whatever. I always felt, you know, insecure and like picked on, whatever. Martial arts empowered me. Do you feel empowered through the Bushido in any sense? The Reiki in any sense? Like, I don't know.
Do you have to ask that question?
I mean, it's good to have firsthand, you
Oh
know.
my God. Holding that sword is the most beautiful feeling.
Okay.
Even I don't know if you guys went over like chibori when you're putting the sword away, or not only the cutting, of course the cutting is amazing, but all of the significance of having it on the scabbard versus having it lifted. Where are you pointing it? You're sending your chi to the tip of it, like wiping the blood off of it. Everything has so much weight and significance, and I'm in awe and reverence with every gesture we do together. That's how I feel during class. um
Awe and reverence with everything. I like that a lot. Um, Now here's
and
my
do I feel
question. Again,
empowered? I feel very empowered.
it's empowering. It is empowering.
So empowering.
How do you balance, or how do you rectify, or how do you, I don't know, reconcile, I think is the word I'm looking for. Um, Being a healer, but learning to, harm. Like there is an element of violence in the sword fighting, right? So
Mm.
it's like, how do you like? I think even as a healer, you should have teeth and be able to defend yourself. But is has there ever been any conflict, or is it just kind
Mm.
of like a
That's
just
a great question.
part of the deal?
So there's a saying that goes, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener on a battlefield. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but it's
I
it's
think I
um
may have heard that. I love that.
and it's pretty cool, right? So, okay, that's kind of an interesting question. You use the word harm, and for me, I don't look at it as harm. First of all, carrying swords in Japan is forbidden, like in public. That's the first thing. And we're using wooden swords, and even if let me give you one example. Okay. When I first started working with Sensei, and so we would go through the movement, you know how he works with layers, and so he has a beautiful method of teaching, and so work through the stance, work through the gestures, and then the intention follows, and then he would say, okay, now focus on your opponent. And so I did that, and then he was like, okay, relax. That means like I did something wrong. So we sat down, and then that's when he started explaining how you build your relationship with your opponent. So yes, I'm trying to slice him open, but when I did that, he noticed my whole body started to constrict, my shoulders started to lift. Maybe I was scowling, because in my head I'm like, enemy, kill, right? Because he was like, focus on your target. And then he read that in one cut. He could read that I was having this intention, and he was like, your enemy is not, you don't have to have hatred or ill feelings towards your enemy. You're on the battlefield because fate brought you there, and you're fulfilling your destiny. They're fulfilling your destiny. So you have to have an empty mind and empty of emotion, and not have those feelings of hatred as you're performing your duty. And that was so mind blowing. I was like, first of all, how did he see that I was imagining? Because in the West, or even in karate, you're like, I don't know if you're watching Cobra Kai, but it's like, rah, you're like, and so angry, God, and all yes. that. Right. Which is kind of not, and I love karate, but it's like the opposite. And Sensei explained to me how, in like classical, whatever, samurai warfare, at the end of the battle, like they have a pen in their mask. So they would write a poem together. So the person who dies on the field would bring the poem to the parents of the person he killed. Like, what? So that brought me so much peace in terms of, so I don't see it as killing or harm, and Sensei always said, like, the best samurai has his sword in his scabbard, right? And when you draw your sword, you're already off balance, all of that. So that's all, like, yeah. I'm training with my bookend to discipline myself, to control my breath, to control my energy, to develop a relationship with my opponent who's just mirroring myself and also going through life the way I am. So there's never been a conflict.
Holy shit. That was a lot. That was pretty freaking deep.
I know. Isn't it amazing?
All right, Mama, I there's no, like, I thought of follow-up questions and stuff like that, but I need to, like, process this.
Take a break.
Is there anything else you want to add?
About Reiki, about Bushido? I'm just, okay, yes, there is.
About Star Wars, about anything.
About Star, well, first of all, two things. Sensei mentioned his father is in his 70s, I think, and he said his father is faster than him. And I was like, holy shit. So because, like you, I was a nerd in school. All I did was study, I was never picked in sports and stuff. And so just that prospect of, I can get better at swordsmanship, and by the time I'm 70, I can be like super quick and badass. That just, like, it's so exciting to me. It's so inspirational and motivating, like, yeah, I still have a lot to look forward to. That's one thing. And the second thing is, I found this group online that is on Facebook, Reiki practitioners who practice martial arts. And they interviewed this Iaido teacher in New York City. And Ron, this woman is, I think she's 74. And she is so amazing. She teaches Iaido, so Japanese swordsman, not Bushido. And the way she talks about her journey, she's like, yeah, back when I was 50, my body could do stuff, but my mind couldn't do stuff. And I'm like, So I'm still in my prime. Like I haven't reached my prime in terms of my martial arts journey, you know that. So you know what? So I'm thinking by the time I'm 70, I could be a sensei, a martial arts sensei, if I practice for 20 years. Like
Yeah.
how amazing, how awesome is that? You know,
It's
I'll be
just
70 and I'll have like 20-year-old novices, 30, 40, 50. That's just something I'm so excited about. Yeah. Yeah.
holy crap.
Right?
The fact that okay, I've seen how he moves, right? I've seen how fast he is. You told me there's someone faster than he is, and
You're
all
still
there,
there. You're still there.
and
Yeah.
I'm there.
Yeah.
And it's all it'll it slowly kind of processes through. But
Yeah, I love it. I love how
to
I
have
keep that in mind always. Yeah.
crazy, crazy. Um, all right, so we're gonna post about it when we organize this, but we have to totally do a live with you and Sensei. I
Sensei
think
will
that'd be
be he'll
awesome.
be game. He'll be super game.
We
Let's
could
talk
all
to
get
him.
a group lightsaber class or something. We'll figure it
Now I feel like I need a lightsaber.
out. I can. Well, yeah, we'll make it happen. We'll make. I
Okay.
know a guy. I know a guy.
I know you know a guy. I checked your other podcast.
It'd be awesome. This has been an absolute pleasure, cousin. I thank you,
Pleasure for me too.
and I will cut the recording there. And thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time.